Hold it, hold it. What are you doing? Put the clicker down. It's 10:30. It's time for Media Reporter, okay? Law and Order started a half an hour ago, all right? Without a Trace started half an hour ago. You'll never figure it out. You missed House. I'm sorry, it was yesterday. Stay tuned. You'll see something interesting here on Media Reporter.
Hello and welcome to Media Reporter. My name is Clifford A. Marin, and tonight my guest will be Professor James Grimmelman of New York Law School. Professor Grimmelman has written an extensive article entitled Saving Facebook. It is a comprehensive look at the dangers and privacy risks that Facebook and other social networking sites pose today, and he proposes possible solutions to them. Professor, if I may quote directly from your article, this article provides the first comprehensive analysis of the law and policy of privacy and social networking sites, using Facebook as its principal example. It explains how Facebook users socialize on the site, why they misunderstand the risks involved, and how their privacy suffers as a result. Professor, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure to be here.
Now, right off the bat, today there are over 100 million users on Facebook and various social networking sites. I'm on Facebook, you're on Facebook. It seems that it's becoming part of the norm of society, with political things broadcasted on them, and sports and activities and entertainment and all of that. But what are these dangers that Facebook poses that the general public or the common user would not know?
So there are lots of great stories. I'll start with one about some college students in Illinois who are on their way home from a night out drinking, and one of them stops off to do his business behind some bushes. And, a police officer pops up out of nowhere. And the student behind the bushes takes off, but his buddy who's standing there is left to deal with the police officer's questions. And the audience says, "Do you know that guy?" And he says, No, I've never seen him. I don't know who he is." The police officer goes back to the station, logs on Facebook, finds the guys, and confirms that, yes, they're listed as friends. So now not only does he have the name to bust the guy behind the bushes, but he's also got the friend dead to rights on lying to the police officer. And this is, people put things on Facebook that they don't necessarily want the whole rest of the world to see. And they can get pretty negative surprises when they find out just who's been looking at their profile.
Yeah, and I think another danger that encompasses within the world of Facebook is the fact that if you post something on me, or if you put a picture up of me, I really have no control of that. So if you happen to put something very derogatory about me, what can I do to take that off?
So this is a very common ritual, again, at colleges, is the morning after untagging. Again, a lot of these stories about college students and Facebook tend to involve drinking, because that's, I guess, where the scandals are. But you go to a party, and you get some good photos of you. If you're John Favreau, Barack Obama's speechwriter, there's a photo of you groping a cardboard cutout of Hillary Clinton. And then somebody else, maybe the person who took the photo, uploads it to Facebook, and then suddenly there you are, and the whole world is seeing you like you are at this party. And so what happens actually now is, on a lot of college campuses, you go to a party, and as soon as you get back, or even now before you get back on your cell phone, you check Facebook to make sure nobody's put up a photo and tagged it as being of you, because you need to control your image.
Right, and aside from those risks, it would seem that Facebook would even pose risks in terms of identity theft. And thinking about the Craigslist killer a few months ago, could you see those type of situations arise as well?
Yeah, and there's something about a Facebook profile that says, this is me, this is who I'm supposed to be. And you've got all sorts of stories now about people who go on and they just create fake Facebook profiles for other people.
Right.
Sometimes these are pretty infantile things, people making fun of teachers or coworkers, but there's a guy in England who actually, won a civil lawsuit against one of his ex-friends for making a fake page with lies about him.
And as we're talking about these type of events and these type of occurrences, they seem common. But why is this risk seem to be misunderstood? Or is it the fact that it's misunderstood? Or is it a risk that is underestimated by its general users?
So let's talk about what it is about Facebook that makes people not think about some of the privacy risks. And these are really interesting, almost deep structural features. Like, it's almost impossible to imagine the Facebook that's the great social network we know and love without having some tendency to cause these problems. The first thing I'd say is that the fact that it's social turns people's threat warnings off. You know, like, you wouldn't go out on the street corner and hold up a sign with all the stuff on your Facebook profile. Like, this is my birthday, this is my hometown, this is my favorite baseball team, and this is my religion.
You'd look like a lunatic.
Yeah, and you wouldn't go around just answering those questions anybody asked. You know, if you came up to me on the street, and I didn't know you and started asking me these questions, you know, I'm not going to tell you these things. You know, even if my favorite team isn't completely private, you know, I put all this stuff together, and you feel weird telling the whole world about it. You don't know where it could go. But on Facebook, where it's all about your contacts and your friends, you're thinking, well, this is a place for me and my buddies. These are the people who are going to see it. Okay. I've listed a bunch of people as friends. Okay. This is for them. But it doesn't just necessarily flow to them. There's pictures online floating around of Bono from U2 cavorting with some people who are half or a third of his age. And one of these young women posted the photos to her Facebook page, where they were shared only with her friends in her networks.
Right.
Problem being, one of her networks was the City of London.
Right, exactly. And through these types of events, when Facebook was first started, it was only for college students. And now it's broadened into basically anybody who has an email address can join it. So how much added danger has that created?
Oh, it's a lot. Because it starts off being just a few colleges. And it really is meant to replicate the freshman Facebook that everybody gets. Here's a list of everybody's names and photos, and you know what dorm they live in. And that's what it started off being. People would go on, they'd say who they were, they'd make little profiles for themselves, and it's about replicating their dorm life environment. And then it starts to spread to other colleges, and now suddenly, whoa, people you didn't know at other colleges could find out some information. And then it's really popular, so people who are admitted to colleges want to start getting on Facebook, so they get their friends at those colleges to start giving them access. And then Facebook says, okay, let's open to high school students. And of course, everybody says, this is going to be the end of the world. Facebook is ruined. It's going to stop growing now. And it opens to high school students and alums, and it keeps on growing. And then it's anybody with an email address. And it's now reached the point where it's a network for anyone, and people of all ages and all kinds of situations are using it to do neat things and have fun and socialize. But it also means the social context has switched a lot. You used to be able to assume that this was mostly a place for students, and it was somehow wrong if your professors and your deans were on it. But now I'm on Facebook, and my students, they friend me. And, you know, it feels like it's the right, friendly, sort of professorial thing to do, to friend them back.
Right.
So now it's no longer that private context. But anything you put up back when it used to be a different social context is now out there for me to see.
Yeah, and it almost seems like if there was a line, it's been crossed because, as you mentioned, between a professor and a student relationship, sometimes there shouldn't be that, I guess, for lack of a better word, intimate relationship between the two. But now with Facebook, it's created, I'm sure there's things on your students' pages that you wouldn't want to see and that they wouldn't want you to see.
Yeah, and I don't know how many of them have made that connection.
Right.
I mean, from my side, I have this profile on Facebook, and I'm, somewhat informal in it. I make jokes and my status updates, but I also know that I've got students reading this. I've got professional contacts reading this. I've got family members from different generations reading this thing. So I've actually, sort of having thought about all this, I've scrubbed it, I've sanitized it. I don't say some of the things that I would say in private or all the things that I think. I think for a lot of people, the design of the site winds up lulling them into not realizing everyone else is looking at it. And they don't have that, wait a minute, do I really want this out there where these other people could see it?